So, what is really savoir relier? As you probably remember, savoir in French means both knowledge and to know, and relier is a verb that means to connect and by extension to rely on, as we will now see with the keyword reliance. Savoir relier is an expression that I came up with in 1994 as part of a project to define new methodologies to educate 21st century leaders and managers. The actual definition of savoir relier is based on the notion of reliance. But before I explain what savoir relier really entails, let us hear what those who have experienced and practiced the savoir relier approach have to say about it.
Savoir relier for me is self-reflection, introspection. But savoir relier is the black box in between, which is the process, converting the inputs into outputs, and it gives you exactly the process of how to do it the right way.
The relationship to the person I was talking to developed very quickly, and there was a lot of trust, a lot of mutual acceptance. So I think that I learned a lot about myself.
Savoir relier really helps you engage with other people and empowers you to become a more effective leader.
With the savoir relier, we learn about listening to others and also speaking our mind in a free, no judgment group.
Savoir relier is a new management philosophy.
It's a continuous improvement process that will help you to thrive as a leader in society.
Learn a lot about myself, about opening up to other people.
Hello, my name is Oriane. Like Elio, the Jack at the beginning of the MOOC, and Shure, I have engaged in the inspirational leadership journey called Savoir Relier. I have not only gained self-confidence and self-awareness from this experience, but I have also been able to run a major project with many complex issues and challenges on the way, thanks to this approach. I will tell you all about it later in the MOOC, so stay tuned and focus on all the learning this episode has to bring.
Well, because we live in a world of complex, fast and dynamic change, a world of uncertainties, we need to prepare ourselves to face the challenges of unknown futures and shape our own destinies, like the sculpture. Remember that image? To carve your own way forward. But for now, just think about the unpredictable events that affect our society and people, from climate change catastrophes to the erratic and irrational markets that govern our economies. Think about the importance of the chain of events and all the relations involved that make them happen. Usually, we post-rationalize to make sense of complex problems like terrorist attacks, tsunamis, or earthquakes. Nassim Nicholas Taleb focuses on problems of randomness and probability. His 2007 book, The Black Swan, was described as one of the 12 most influential books since World War II. In it, he criticizes risk management methods used by the finance industry and warns about financial crises. He advocates what he calls a black swan robust society, meaning a society that can withstand difficult to predict events. He denounces 3 key factors of failure in the way we approach uncertainty. The first one, the disproportionate role of high-impact, hard-to-predict and rare events that are beyond the realm of normal expectation. This means some rare events that we don't anticipate affect our lives dramatically. The second, the non-computability of the probability of the consequential rare events using scientific methods. This means the traditional scientific methods cannot measure the impact of such events. Third, the psychological biases that make people individually and collectively blind to uncertainty and unaware of the massive role of the rare events in historical affairs, which means that we are blind to these events and their impact. To illustrate the black swan for people and not for events, let me share with you one of my black swans. Unexpectedly, when I was a child, living the happiest family life, my father decided to leave us. And that was the most disruptive element in my childhood moving forward. This is one of my early black swans. Now I'm sure you have your own black swans too. Why don't you share in your SR journal your black swan and write the story? This is where savoir relier plays a critical role. We have to learn to deal with uncertainty, the unknown, and a fortiori our incapacity to predict in spite of all the math, theories, algorithms. So we have to create, invent new approaches and develop new mindsets. Complexity itself comes from the Latin complexus, which means that which is woven together. Relationships are the key to building sense for ourselves. This is what reliance means. In the Oxford Dictionary, reliance means dependence on or trust in someone or something. The sociologist Marcel Boldebal defines it as l'acte de relier, de se relier et son résultat. And Edgar Morin describes it as le partage des solitudes acceptées et l'échange des différences respectées. Don't worry, I'm going to translate. This is the act of relying, self-relying, and its end result. And for the other definition, the sharing of accepted solitudes and the exchange of respected differences. So the relation itself becomes the engine, the key player in the relationships that govern our lives. Like the synapses, which are the key to the way our brain functions, not the neurons themselves. In a world that tends to divide, we need more than ever to rebuild the connections to create sense. But let me not lose you here and get back to our leadership track. So if you want to dig in these aspects of leadership and complexity, use the references attached to this course and read further Edgar Morin and other authors on complexity and reliance. Savoir relier is a way to work from tensions by taking critical dimensions of leadership such as trust, resilience, agility, intuition, courage, and complexity, and leveraging them to enhance our capacity to navigate the increasingly complex and highly relational world we live in. It is a type of leadership that is marked by humility and intuition, recognizing the importance of human relationships and the value of diversity as a means to drive innovation and performance. It is a tool for approaching and managing complex problems at individual, interpersonal, and organizational level. Savoir relier is an act. The act of generating sensible and sustainable relations between different or divergent entities to build sense for individuals and organizations alike. But I will let Oriane speak about it from her experience.
I decided to launch a great project while doing my master's in law and international management at HEC Paris to pilot the musical Chicago from Broadway with a group of 37 volunteer students. I actually used Valérie Gautier's book, Leading with Sense, and found in the Savoir Relier method the resources to build confidence in myself and to create an atmosphere of trust between the students involved. This trust that was so important when we had difficult moments, and we had many. Believe me, you need to persevere and focus on all the steps of this protocol as you move forward in your MOOC, and you'll find great benefits. I'll tell you more about my projects as you carry on. You can read further about it in the book Leading with Sense if you want to know more about the background and theories that support this notion. So, see you later.